we meet on Wajok na Puja. This land is, was and always will be Aboriginal land. I therefore acknowledge the Wajok people of the Noongar Nation who remain spiritual and cultural Bidyangara of the Wagadak Puja. They play a really significant role for our community to flourish here in Perth, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. Good morning. My name is Rochelle Spencer. I am a Principal Fellow of the Indo-Pacific Research Centre at Murdoch University. And it's my great pleasure to be here with you today. I was asked by David if I would talk to you about some of the examples from my work and the Indo-Pacific Research Centre's engagement that can help us to understand how universities can demonstrate our value, our social license, through our engagement with industry. So for me, as a critical development anthropologist, industry typically refers to NGOs, non-government organisations, DFAT, and increasingly private sector entities doing development work. Quite often that's in the extractives sector. So I have actually published on social license to operate in Kenya, looking at
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Permit me to stand on existing protocols. The subject for today is not only topical but contemporaneous, given the Sustainable Development Goals agenda. And I'll prefix my brief remarks within how do we bridge academic innovation with industrial needs, and looking at the subject of social license, university industry engagement. I'm going to take one factor of university industry engagement, which is incubation, and talk about it and why it matters in university industry engagement, the importance of it within economic development, within the context of global analysis of South Africa, and use the University of Mpumalanga Center for Entrepreneurship Rapid Incubator Center as a case study of what we are doing with university industry engagement. University-led incubation, as we may know, is a transformative model for entrepreneurship and economic development. And the startups that are incubated in our universities, they benefit from structured support, mentorship, and access to resources when you compare them to other startups without such backing. And because of this incubation at the university level, it brings credibility in the eyes of industry partners who now view the university's involvement as a signal of trustworthiness, compliance, and long-term sustainability, which is the social license matrix that we're talking about. And
thank you, Chair. I must thank David to give me a short notice. I got an email on Saturday saying that I had to give a speech. So there it is. I think the main thing, we have had some fantastic sessions just after the morning tea. And now, so my life is very easy. What I'm going to do, just give some examples how social license and the university industry collaboration. 3 examples. So the next one, please. So this is a wonderful story, 25 years of funding coming from a German company called NPZ, providing us $1 million per annum for the last 25 years. And also, creation of that is funding from the farmers of Australia. And this has really supported Professor Wallace Cowling, who has been here yesterday. And we have done some wonderful work. So it's a partnership with the university. We all talk about universities doesn't have the money. I think that will continue. So we have to hunt for money from elsewhere. And for example, my university of Western Australia's annual budget is $1 billion Australian dollars per annum. And if we just depend upon the government of Australia, forget about it. We still will get money from government, so we have to get money from elsewhere, particularly to do the research. as time goes, but they have contributed. What is the impact of these varieties? Next slide, please. If you look at that, you can see the 5-year moving average of the production of Australian canola. So in the 2000 program, in 2000, we really started moving for resistance, but also adaptation to the dryland environments. So you can see that Western Australia is producing about 55 to 65% of the canola in Australia. So Australia is one of the leading canola exporting countries. The benefit is going to farmers, the benefit is going to us as the taxpayers, the benefit is going to the country, and of course the academic environment is also prospered very well. Next one. The next one is an interesting story. This is 11 to Africa. This is a project which Wallace and I have developed now almost 6 years, but the precursor of this project was the PRDF funding from ACIR, and we had a meeting in Mauritius. I was talking to the Pro Vice Chancellor from Mauritius, wonderful, where we organized from the $10,000 a bunch of people, enthusiastic people from the 6 African countries, and that's where we now look back. So the project is going extremely well. Ambassador High Commission is here, and we are on the verge of releasing some wonderful varieties for Africa in terms of faster cooking time, high iron and zinc. What a benefit for the pregnant women, lactating mothers, young children, saving fuel for the environment and so on. So there's no more example than this. The good news is that we got an extension until 2026 August, and we have been invited by ACR to put a project for another 5 years. So 10 years, successful funding coming from that $10,000 thanks to AAUN. And of course, the partnership with the Australian government, SIAT, which is an international organization, PABRA. PABRA is the leading farmers organization dealing with the beans, and of course, the national agricultural programs of those 6 African countries. The recipe is that we were able to bring young leaders from Africa. They are still there, Clay, working from Uganda, one of the best leaders, who is doing a wonderful job. We have been able to connect with the Ministry of Agriculture, the partnership, and so they feel that it is their project, not Australian project. That's how we built that. Don't go with a project to a country and say, this is the project we want to do. What we did, we asked some $15,000 from, I got 2 minutes, from SAR, and then we conducted a workshop. Just move on. Next one, please. And again, you can see that impact, keep going. And there's a lot of training going on. And the young lady, PhD student, she's funded by John Allred Fellowship. She's currently in Rwanda, coming back with a lot of data. And another young man joined our university from John Allred Fellowship. So training, capacity building, and releasing varieties, etc. Next one, please. And then the last one is the farm, which I'm leading, 1,600 hectare farm. Maybe next conference we will take all of you to the farm. Just one, next one, please. So what are we doing? Mitigation on farm, greenhouse gas emission, adaptation to changing climate, profitable, ethical production system, including animals. These are all the social license we're talking about. It's not just about pure research. There are 17 externally funded projects on the farm. So the farm serves as a living lab. Next one, please. So there's more stuff if you want to get. I have shared this with David, so it will be available. The last slide, the conclusion, so I'll be on time. So the case studies developed and supported multidisciplinary research. Economically viable, environmentally credible, and created a tangible social benefits. I give you some examples. It would be impossible without the collaboration, the government, state government, federal government, NASA.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And in the interest of time, I also stand insisting protocol. My name is Victor Gikara. I am from RMIT University, and I'm one of the directors of the Center for African Engagement, and we're very excited to be here. So I've been given the very important duty of kind of summarizing what has been said, but kind of to invite you to reflect upon the very good points that have been made by the speakers. about social license and where the university stands in that respect. Now, I was going to show you my driver's license, but it will take me time to get it. I've got one. I've got a driver's license, and that is a reflection of the amount of, a level of trust that I'm going to do the right thing. That there's a promise for me to behave in a particular way for the interest of others and to myself as well. So I have to make certain promises and certain commitments. But then it's very easy with a driver's license because I know when I'm meant to renew it. Okay? So I renew it from time to time. And universities, and any other institution in fact, must always think about the social license they've been given, because it's great trust. And whether they are maintaining the requirements and the commitments under that social license, and then renewing it. Now, when do you renew it? Now, my driver's license is very easy, but the university stands at a very critical and important position in society. You are thinking about social license from government, you're thinking about social license from industry, you think about social license from community. So the question is, where do you stand, and what commitments are you meant to be fulfilling through this social license? Now, it's easy to say we've got the license to operate, but are we facilitated? Are we supported? Universities need a lot of money, a lot of funding, a lot of support to be able to deliver on that social license, and it's very critical. Governments depend on the knowledge that is created by universities. Industry depends on the skills that universities produce, because skills are the future of industry. And society depends on universities, and then this is the most critical one, I think. Society depends on industry, on universities to uphold the values by which we live in society, democratic values, cultural values, social values, economic values, etc., etc. So when I think about, in a nutshell, I know I don't have much time, so I won't take too much time. What is the purpose? What does a university commit to do in that social license? Conduct research, of course. 2 minutes. Conduct research, disseminate that research in a way that creates impact, facilitate stakeholder engagement to ensure that that research translates into actual impact, social, economic, and etc. Influence practice, both industry practice, drive innovation, as we've been told, and develop skills. We talk about develop skills. But then universities must also demonstrate a number of things in order to be able to maintain that license. And unfortunately, with time, and I think Matthew made it very clear, I love everything that you said, because I stand in exactly the same opinion. Universities are increasingly, actually, we are not careful, we are increasingly risking losing that license. And this is a serious problem. So we have to commit to demonstrate transparency. We have to commit to demonstrate capacity, of course. We have to commit to the intent for which we were created in the first place, and accountability. And unless we can continuously maintain this, and that's what I mean by renewing the license, unless we can commit to maintaining this and sustaining this, then we are going to lose that license. And what does that license look like? This is my last point. That license is the trust that government, society, and industry gives us to be able to do the right thing and drive innovation, drive development, drive well-being, etc., etc. Value. We promise to deliver a particular value that means something to somebody else. Now, of course, it's easy for us to collect data and conduct research and etc., etc., but it has to mean something to somebody else. Acceptance. So we have to maintain and respect the acceptance that we've been given by society, industry, etc., etc. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll stop there because I know there are questions going to come.